The Supreme Court has given the green light to the NEET and JEE exams. These are the medical entrance and the engineering entrance exams that are held across the country. Perhaps the toughest exams that one can appear for. Students often study for years on end in order to be able to successfully get a good rank in these exams. The court had earlier observed that life cannot be stopped. We have to move ahead with safeguards and the career of students cannot be in jeopardy. Today, the Supreme Court was hearing a petition that was filed by the NEET and JEE aspirants abroad. There are at least 3,000 students who are to appear for the NEET and JEE from the Middle East alone. The court has asked these students today to take Vande Bharat flights and come home. The Supreme Court has directed the government to get NEET candidates on Vande Bharat flights and has told the Medical Council of India to consider conducting these NEET exams online, but from next year. The Supreme Court has also said that they can't relax the quarantine conditions, but the states should consider relaxing quarantine conditions for these exam aspirants. Aditya Thackeray has appealed to Prime Minister Narendra Modi to assess the risks and postpone the exams. Mamata Banerjee, M.K. Stalin have all joined the chorus in asking the government to reconsider the decision. But what is it that students and academicians really want? In the wake of this crisis this evening, we're being joined by Bhavna Balakrishnan from Dubai, Sri Lakshmi Suresh from Qatar, Seher Bhamla from Mumbai. We're also being joined by Professor Sanjeev Tiwari. He's an academician and professor at the Delhi University. He teaches political science. And we're joined by Haris Biran. He is the petitioner's advocate. He's argued today on behalf of NEET and JEE aspirants in the Middle East before the Supreme Court. Appreciate you all for being with us on the broadcast this evening. I want to, of course, begin by asking the students on the broadcast what they think. Sri Lakshmi, if I can begin by asking you, you've been asked to get on Vande Bharat flights to come back to India to be able to write your NEET exam. Are you going to be able to do that?
First of all, I would like to say that we are really disappointed about the court's verdict. So hence I've decided to drop my exam this year. I've decided to write it next year. Vande Bharat mission, it's actually highly risky. That's why we, the parents are really tensed of sending their children to India. And another problem is that our parents can't accompany us with, to India because within the time period, we are not sure whether we'll be able to come back to Qatar within the time period because we'll have a quarantine period in Kerala and we'll have to have a quarantine period here as well.
Right.
So that will threaten their job's existence. So, and our parents are not willing to send us alone because of this pandemic situation. It's highly risky.
Understand.
And yeah, so and most of the doctors' children are staying here since they know the consequences really well.
Sri Lakshmi, is this a big setback for you? How many years have you been preparing for this examination?
No, I just finished my 12th grade and I just had my crash course now.
Okay.
So I was about to prepare for the exam. Yeah.
Bhavna Balakrishnan is joining us from Dubai this evening. Bhavna, how has this decision impacted you? Are you going to get on a Vande Bharat flight and come to India to write your exam?
Hi, we are all very stressed and we didn't have any idea if this was going to happen or not. But if we have to go now, we have to book the flights like maybe tomorrow. We need a lot of approvals to be taken, maybe from the states, respective states. We need to take a PCR test from here before we leave, a day or two before we leave. And then once we reach India, we have to take another PCR test there too, one before the exam too. And then if we have to come back, we have to take another PCR test. So that's 4 PCR tests in total. And just like Sri Lakshmi, my parents are working too. So if I have to go to India, I'll be traveling alone. So 14 days of quarantine, not at home because I have grandparents at home and it's difficult to put their lives at risk just because of me. So I'd be staying at a hotel most probably for 14 days if I have to go. So that's putting another financial stress on my parents. So that would be a difficult decision to take. And I have a few friends writing the JEE exam too. So if the 14 days, they wouldn't be able to take the 14 days quarantine because the exam is going to happen in a week and a half.
All right, so that makes the life of the JEE student more difficult. But what Bhavna is saying is extremely crucial. What she's saying is, in order to be able to make her way from Dubai to India, she has to undergo 4 COVID-19 tests in order to be able to make her way from Dubai to India and back in order to be able to appear for this exam. Many people cannot home quarantine, so they have to stay in hotels, which is of course an additional financial burden on several families. So crucial points there. Seher is joining us from Mumbai. Seher, I'm sure you appreciate some of the concerns that have been raised by the foreign aspirants of the NEET and JEE, but you live in Mumbai. What's your take?
Absolutely. So I feel the solution would be to keep it optional. For those who would like to give these exams, they should be permitted to do so. For those who don't want to give an exam for the reasons they have, or in a position to, or are willing to waste a year, then they shouldn't give the exam. These are entrance exams. So the most important thing is that it will waste a year or at least 6 months of students, and who knows that the vaccine will be available in the next 6 months.
Right.
You don't know how much time will it take to curb the pandemic. It might take 1 year, 2 years. So you can't keep on wasting your educational years, because obviously you want to get employed and go ahead in
Right.
life, and without having the degree, it's pointless. And I feel one suggestion to the government and all of that is that, and once again, I feel what I think is that everything has started. Shops have started, industries have started, commercial businesses are running, and they're maintaining social distancing norms. So why can't exams be conducted by following social distancing norms, which are stricter than the normal norms also? So yeah.
Okay.
Because
so,
I
Seher,
don't want
you believe that exams should be conducted. You weigh in terms, of what the Supreme Court has said, that life must go on.
Yeah, because like I mentioned, you don't know when the vaccine is coming out. Okay, you waste these 6 months.
Okay.
Do you know that next year it will start?
All
That's
right.
my
I
whole
think
point. So it's better
that's
to
a
start
very
running.
valid point. That's a very valid point. So you have, very interestingly, one student who's decided to not write the exam this year at all. One student who's still trying to make up her mind because she has a long journey to make from Dubai to come here to be able to write the exam. And you have Seher, who says that how long will you wait? You have to get on with life. So let's make it optional and find a solution. Let me now bring in Mr. Harris into the conversation. He is the petitioner's lawyer. Mr. Harris, you're representing several students across the Middle East. How many students are you representing? How many students does today's decision impact? And how many students are going to, back out of the exam altogether because they don't want to risk getting on international flights or undertaking international travel at this time?
Initially the petition was filed as a public interest litigation for the students of Qatar.
Right.
And why we filed as a public interest was because of the fact that there was this person who was employed in Qatar but who was not there in Kerala. It was easier for him to attest the affidavit and all, because getting the affidavits from parents over there, from the embassy over there, was so difficult at that point of time, and it was filed in lockdown period.
Right.
So it was filed on behalf of the students in Qatar. But then when the news came out that these students have already approached the court, several parents from UAE contacted, and around 35 to 40 parents were also added as parties in this petition.
Right.
So it is basically a combination of students from Qatar as well as students from UAE. So these were basically the petitioners in this matter. Now, according to me, approximately 4,000 students will be there in the Middle East countries, comprising of these 5 countries in the GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council.
Right.
That is the approximate figure which has been given to me. Because there are 211 CBSE schools sanctioned by the CBSE outside India. And out of these 211 schools, around 180 schools operate from these 5 countries in GCC.
Right.
So majority of the students will be from these GCC countries only. And that is the reason why we said that apart from these 5 countries in GCC, perhaps maybe from Singapore and Malaysia will be the other 2 countries where Indian students are there. And that is what the testing agency, which is National Testing Agency, actually told the Medical Council, that students are only from these 2 areas. And therefore, if there is an online mode of examination, we are ready to conduct the examination. But MCA said that it's not possible for them to conduct.
Okay.
So according to me, the government or the governmental agencies have let the students down. I mean, courts have their own limitation, but
Right.
the government, according to me, has let the students down.
All right. So you believe that the students have been left down. Professor Tiwari, let me come to you at this point. You're an academician. You obviously understand how difficult these examinations are. Students prepare for these examinations for years on end at times. And many students are, weighing in with what the court has said. Many say we just want the exams to happen. We want to move on with our lives, but there are many students who have very serious logistical concerns with these examinations taking place.
Of course, Ritika, these are not normal time and normal situation in the entire world. We are facing an abnormal time and a very difficult situation. We cannot see that the examination should not be conducted. Number one, because see, the number of seats we are going to lose because of not conducting the examination is very huge.
Right.
And the cost of that is the JEE and the NET, the medical students. You know, the number of medical seats, they are already in a very limited manner. And that is why our students, they are going abroad. That means losing that much of seats is basically impossible to imagine, number one. Number two, as far as you are rightly talking, that there is a lot of trauma and strain on the students.
Right.
Could you imagine that one student is preparing for the JEE and the NEET from class 8th? They have been joining the Akash and other coaching institutes from class 8th onwards. They have already prepared for 4 long years just to qualify in JEE and NET. Now you cannot say them to waiting, and you see the trauma they have already passed through this entire pandemic period, starting from May till September.
Right.
That means they are already strained. You have to take the
Professor
examination.
Tiwari,
That is very important
Professor
and
Tiwari,
pertinent.
what are the
And now
solutions?
see the political leaders who are not even bothered about knowing what is the full form of the JEE. They are joining the chorus,
Right.
like the Mamata Banerjee, Aditya Thackeray, Stalin, Tejasvi
Right. No,
Yadav.
I don't want to get into the politics. I don't want to get into the politics of it. Yes, of course, this has become a political issue.
What is the full form of the NET?
Okay. I don't want to get into the politics of it. Of course, it has become a political issue, and there are leaders of the opposition who've written to the Prime Minister. But what I want to ask you, Professor Tiwari, is, you know, what happens to students who are in far-flung areas? I mean, because of the pandemic and the lockdown, students have returned home. Many students live in far-flung villages. What happens to the logistical question? What if a student has tested positive, has a case in their vicinity, is under quarantine, or cannot appear for the exam because they can't make it to the examination center? What then?
A very good question, Ritika. I would like to highlight it. See, when we are talking about the opening of the weekly markets in Delhi, when we are going for the opening of the hotels and the bars in Delhi, when in Unlock 4, we are going to open the metros in Delhi and the other areas of the country, how we can say that we cannot conduct the examination? As far as the far-flung areas are concerned,
there are students who are living hundreds of kilometers away from exam centers in places like Bihar, in Assam. These are flood-hit states. In Andhra Pradesh. I'm just giving you examples of students I know myself. I'm asking you, what is the solution for students like that? What would you recommend to them? Would you recommend that they take a break here? Would you recommend that they don't appear for the exams?
Let me answer, please. As far as the far-flung students are concerned, already 16 lakhs students are there who are registered in the NET.
Okay.
And out of that, almost 99.87%, that is 15 lakhs 19,500.
Yes, these are government statistics.
And 36 students.
Yes.
They have already been allotted the center of their choice. Now, what matters? The state government has to arrange the vehicles for them.
Okay.
Special vehicles could be arranged for those students who are going to appear in the NET and JEE, number one. Number two, as far as these examinations are concerned, already the NTA, National Testing Agency, it came out with a protocol, a detailed protocol to conduct the the examinations. That means maintain the social distance, have the mask and the gloves, and have the sanitizer with them. And these all things are already described in the detail. I think that not conducting the examination will be basically a crime against the students who have been working for last 4 years or 5 years.
Professor Tiwari, I think several of your points are very well noted, and there are two very robust sides to this argument. But let me take this then to Bhavna. She's a student who has to fly in from Dubai to write this exam. Bhavna, does this inspire confidence? The fact that there are over 99% students who've been given the centers of their choice, you know, travel is going to be facilitated. The government says that it's going to do everything that it can in order to make these examinations possible. Does it inspire confidence?
About 40%, not up to 100%, because see, when we land, we'll be landing in Cochin. So when we go to another state, I have to go to my home district. So if I have to go to my home district, I need another approval. And after I write the exam, we are more prone to the virus, because we are in a very a very social. I mean, it's a huge gathering that's going to happen. So
Yes.
once I finish the exam, I need to go back and I have to stay in quarantine probably again. And not just that, I have to come back home to Dubai. So if I need to come here, the restrictions here are changing
Right.
day by day. It's a much more
It's a much
stricter.
more complicated process for Bhavna, say, than it is for
Exactly.
Seher. Seher, would you agree that it's a lot more complicated for students who are either in remote parts of the country or students who have to come from different parts of the world to be able to write this exam, and perhaps slightly easier for you given the fact that you live in Bombay?
Yes, Bhavna does have a point that it is going to be a bit more tough for her. That's why first only I mentioned that it should be optional for the students who genuinely have genuine problems, like, traveling and all of that. They can wait for a year. But I'm talking about the students who are here, because apparently I've heard a lot of things about the fact that
Right.
leaders want to postpone the exam. Now, what I'm trying to say is, I don't want any student to lose a year, because, there's so many plans that students have, and I don't want it to be shattered.
Right.
They have to get into employment, right? Bhavna is a very different and special case. The fact that she's in Dubai and, all the things that she has to go through to give her exam. But what
Okay.
about the people who are here?
Okay.
Now, people are saying, the talks are there that don't keep exams, postpone it after 1 year. That's
Okay.
not fair. I mean, I personally feel that's not right. I just feel
Okay,
that they
I
should
think
have
there are two sides to the story, and we've tried to highlight both. There are students who want to get done with their exams, who don't want to put their life on hold as a result of the pandemic, and many students who are in far-flung areas of the country and in different parts of the world, and you've heard those voices as well, who say that it's just not possible for them. One student here on the broadcast today has announced that she's not going to be appearing for the exam this year, perhaps next year if the situation permits, and one who has to undergo a long journey for COVID-19 test before she can give the exam and make it back home. Thank you so much, Bhavna, Sri Lakshmi and Seher, for joining us, as well as Mr. Harris and Professor Tiwari. Appreciate you for being with us on the
Thank you.
broadcast this evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.